source 3900.
Sure to stay tuned. Yo, we back with another one. What's good, Tyler?
Yo, what's poppin', Poppy?
Yo, we about to talk about Mayweather ending the pay-per-view era. Let's talk about it. So, I'm gonna give you my take. So, when they talk about pay-per-view numbers, a lot of things they don't factor in is the fact that people are streaming the fight free. And over years, people got better at streaming the fights free, which makes the numbers actually go down. So a lot of people still watch the fight, but at the same time, not as many people buying the fight. And when Mayweather went out, forgot the year it was, but his fights were going for $100 per fight, and it was hard to stream it without it crashing, so you would have to order the fight anyway. So now it's like people done got better at streaming the fights, and the pay-per-view sales are down. Not only are they down, the price of pay-per-view has went down, and they still not equating to the pay-per-view buys. So that's what I want to talk about in this video today. What's your take, Tyler?
I think he was kind of like the beginning of that pay-per-view era as well as the end of the pay-per-view era. As you notice, like over the years of pay-per-view, they called it pay-per-view. And then when he took over, just annihilating the numbers, they called it May-per-view, and then he will always give us a showdown.
Right. Very entertaining. And one thing that I want to bring up is Terrence Crawford and his outing against Matronov. They said it did 75,000 pay-per-view buys, and that's not a lot. So they saying the Sheik actually lost 10 million on this whole ordeal. But when you equate the fact that nobody know who Matronov is, and to be honest, Terrence Crawford is not big of a draw as a Mayweather or Canelo or Javante. Even though he's a great fighter, he's not as big of a draw because I feel like Bud needs to reinvent himself, just give himself some character, even though just some persona. It's just a mean guy. He get in there, he handle business, and that's what you know about Bud. But give us something to see, you know what I mean? As a pay-per-view fan, we buying into whatever character you selling, plus the boxing aspect. So what you got to say, Tyler?
I agree with you on that as far as him not being as big of a pay-per-view draw. I think with Mr. Turkish, he probably based the attraction off of the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford showdown, and behind that, this is what you get. But not saying that Bud isn't an amazing fighter and he'll do great numbers, but it's something that Mayweather has, Canelo has something, Tank Davis has something. That's something that they have where people is more than willing to buy the pay-per-view, as well as, streaming is gonna be, they gonna find loopholes to where they can watch the fight for free. They was doing that long before now, so they just, like you said, got better at it. So with that also drains the numbers on the pay-per-view fighters,
right.
But we'll see. Floyd has a exhibition fight coming up August 24th. Y'all should tune in and get that pay-per-view. It's definitely gonna be a must-see. He always exciting, and that's what makes you want to buy his pay-per-view. Yeah, I just think that Terrence Crawford, he's good, but was this his first headline?
No.
On a pay-per-view?
No, they had the Earl Spence.
I mean, yeah, but
they had
other than that,
probably no. He's a headline. I don't know.
As far as pay-per-view,
him and Crawford, he fought
Crawford and Spence.
Porter, and those numbers were down as well. Those numbers was down as well. So I'm gonna go through some numbers right here and just give you a good take on the difference of eras and pay-per-view buys. So we got Tank, which is like everybody want to see him fight. We got Tank versus, who is this? You got 350,000 against Frank Martin. Okay, that's
nice.
But it's more or less. Let's go Canelo. He's another great one. See Floyd Mayweather right there. Canelo versus Floyd, 2.2. On Showtime with
Alfredo Angulo.
Yeah, 350,000, 900,000. But he does $1 million with Chavez Jr., 1.3 with Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, and then he does 1.1 in the first fight or the second fight. But as you notice, the numbers dropped. And if you look at the dates, as the years go up, the numbers go down as far as sales and pay-per-view buys. Let's see. Now we're gonna look at Terrence Crawford right here, and his thing with Errol Spence that went 700,000. Him and Sean Porter, 1.3? No, not 1.3. 135,000. Here go Canelo versus Charlo. That's reported 600 to 700,000. But it's a difference in errors. It's definitely a difference in errors when it comes to the pay-per-view. So this is the top 10 biggest selling boxing pay-per-view in history. You got this list is okay, starting with 10. Okay. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. This was recent. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, 1.6. Floyd versus Canelo, 1.5. Mike Tyson versus Peter McNeely, 1.5. Vander Holyfield versus Tyson, 2, 1.9. Javante versus Ryan, 1.2. Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson, 1.9. Floyd versus Oscar De La Hoya, 2.48. Floyd versus Canelo, 2.2. Floyd versus Conor McGregor, 4.3. Oh my God. And Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao, 4.6. I don't think those numbers will be top for a long time unless they figure out a different system to sell the fights on pay-per-view. Just being honest. But Floyd did reinvent himself. He created a character, and it was either one, you wanted to see him win, or two, because he was undefeated, or two, you wanted to see him lose because of the persona that he portrayed. outside the ring, but it was something to see. You know what I mean? So it brought all the stars out. Tyler, what you got to say?
Yeah, he was that deal. You know, you can't say nothing other than he did change the game. He was the face, and he was everything that the up and coming ones are trying to be, and he did it effortlessly, and we all paid to see those fights.
Yeah, it was like a journey.
Yeah.
It was a journey. So when you look at Terrence Crawford, he is what, 3-time unified champion. Did he unify? No, not 2 divisions. He's working on 3. He just became champion at 154. But what I was saying, in his last outing, he made 2.5, somewhere in there, plus a back end. But this is his 40-something fight, like 42nd or 41st fight. And that round then, Floyd was making like $38 million per fight. So if you're not selling, a lot of these pay-per-views are taking losses. So you see Showtime, HBO, all of them crashed out and don't do boxing. So you got pay-per-view, and then you got ESPN and Danza and different things like that. But yeah, it did Floyd Mayweather end the era in boxing, because the fighters want to make the money that he make, especially showing $100 million check versus Manny Pacquiao. Like Canelo asking for that to fight Terrence Crawford, he want like 150. That's crazy numbers, right?
Mm-hmm. I think he was the beginning and the end of the actual pay-per-view era, even though pay-per-view started before him. What he did with them numbers, I mean, you just heard TG run them down, and it's crazy. But shout out to Floyd.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, like, some of his fights, when you would see him in his dressing room and he would be reluctant to come out, he was letting the numbers run up. I swear to God, like, just little things like that. But the numbers, you know, are what they are. And he had Leonard Ellaby in his corner. He had a good team behind him. And now you see a lot of fighters, they promote themselves, but it's like either one, they lose, or they don't have a persona. You know, he had a persona that like made people want to see him fight. You know what I mean? Can he really fight? So a lot of people would get in there and test him, like rush him. Like you see the highlights.
I think it was his confidence. His confidence was through the roof. Like he said, you put him in front of him, he beat him. And you put him in front of him, and he beat all 50 of them. Like, you had to take the wheel out of him, and out of 50 fighters, we ain't seen nobody. He was tested. We seen him get tested, but his confidence was just stupid, dumb, crazy through the roof.
Speaking on tested, I want to tap on that. So we got Terrence Crawford, right, which is a great fighter. But I want to see him get tested against Boots. I want to see him in a nice, good fight with Boots. He got tested against Earl Spence. He mastered that. You know, somebody fight Boots, please. You know, let's see what that do. Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford. One of y'all jump in there with Boots. Let's see how that go. You know, for the fans. The fans really want to see him matched up against one of you guys. So, yeah.
I recommend y'all get y'all numbers up first. I think, Boots, you should take your time and hold that lane down. Don't let nothing. You ain't got to look back. You already in the lead. You ain't got to look back. Terrence don't either. But I think y'all should run it up. I think it'll be a good clash when y'all do collide. But I think y'all should really just spank some ass and really run them numbers up, because the pay-per-view that the people want to see after watching Terrence Crawford and Madrimov, I don't think people would just run and jump in the pay-per-view ring with Boots and Crawford, because a lot of people think they know how that fight would go. I think they spanked some ass a couple more fights.
I want to say this too. So while I'm watching this and I see the Floyd Canelo fight highlights, I think Terrence Crawford should be allowed to fight Canelo, even though people talk about matching off. Matching off and Canelo is two different fighters. Yeah, style make fights, but if Floyd could go against Canelo, and Canelo came in about 170 in this fight, 168. So I just feel like it'd be smooth if Terrence Crawford could fight him just one time. You know, they match in weight. Canelo won't come down for that, and he's asking a lot for that. And I think he see Floyd in Terrence Crawford, the undefeated, the confidence, and he needs Terrence Crawford need a De La Hoya fight. Like Floyd had a De La Hoya fight. The changing of the guards. You got to beat the pay-per-view king. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is Canelo Alvarez. And I think he's selective of who he fight. That's
as far as pay-per-view, I just feel like, once again, unless you doing pay-per-view numbers, it's hard to get them good pay-per-view fights. And thank y'all to our new subscribers, and we hope that you like the video. Share it. If you haven't subscribed, we like to have you subscribe to the channel.
Shout out to everybody. Did subscribe. Join the channel, man. Make sure y'all like the video, share the video, man. Get the content out, man. And comment below what you believe. You know, just a short comment, and we keep this conversation going. But I did, and we do believe that he ended the era of the pay-per-view. And I don't think the numbers, or we don't believe the numbers will reach like 4.6 million and 4 point anything million again, unless you give us the fights that we want to see. With that being said, TG Insider, man, we signing out, man. 3 letters, 2 words. Be easy. Let's go.